and you can find me at MoFitThanYou. And this is my husband.
Hi, my name is Jason, and you can find me at Passport Will Travel.
And today we are interviewing RJ at Jeffries Performance.
I'm RJ, and this is Jeffries Performance.
Hi.
Hi.
A little bit of background on all of us here. We've been friends since about 2013. We actually all kind of came into each other's acquaintance by working together at a restaurant. It was a bar, and my first day was the same day as Mo. We both shared the first day, and RJ was actually our hiring manager. So very, very fun times.
Yeah. Very long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
We were all young bucks back then.
Yeah.
RJ taught us both how to bartend.
Yeah, and they taught me what true love is at first sight.
Yeah, pretty much.
So how did you, it's been quite a journey, from 2013 to now. So how did you go from the bar industry to now owning your own extremely successful company?
Well, thank you for that. It has been a long journey. I always had this kind of life motto that I never said no to opportunity, no matter what it was, whether I was scared of it or I didn't know about it. So that's kind of led me to where I am now. Obviously, I started bartending in Scottsdale. That was off an opportunity of just talking to somebody I didn't know was the owner of the nightclub there, and they asked me to come bartend there, and I said, okay. I've never bartended in my life. I think my first night somebody asked me for a land shark, and I asked what was in it. So I faked that for as long as I could, and then obviously Progressive got into it, and then I got the opportunity at the bar that we were at to go in there as a bar manager and started there. Then one of our regulars that was at El Santo had asked me to come and run his company, and his company was an event management company, or they built events. I didn't know at the time that he was bankrupt and had no money and pretty much burned all of his bridges, but it was a good opportunity and the pay was good, so I had left there to do that and quickly found out that I was in deep. So I could either pivot from that and try and find another job or go back to where we were, and that wasn't it. So I chose to kind of make the best of the situation. I took that company and I did the best I could with it. And about a year into it, we had some steam, picked up some notoriety, and had some contacts in that industry that got me the opportunity I did with the company previous to what I'm doing now. And it was a really good opportunity. In that company, did some of the biggest events, Dxvynscxtt Open, Waste Management, Russo Steel, all of those big events. So I learned a ton through that and made a great career of that. But while I was there, that company, there was a ceiling. The person that I was under, his name was Tony, one of the most amazing guys I've ever worked with, taught me so much. A lot of what I know today or how I manage is because of how he taught me, and he had a lot of patience with me and coached me through things. But I really felt constricted. I was making great money. I really had no complaints, but I just felt like there was no room for growth, and I felt stagnant. And I think that there's people that find comfort in having a secure job and the 9 to 5, or they have their set ways and there's no rocking the boat. Mm-hmm. Then there's the other people that when you hit your rev limiter, it's painful. It's like it deteriorates your mindset every day. And that's what was happening to me over the years. So the last year I was there, I had made the choice that I was like, I'm going to do something. I have to do something. So I started saving my money. I started to try and find what I was going to do. And I had a million ideas, but my hobby at that point was in off-road. And I had gotten my first Polaris Razor, and I was out doing that. And I really loved the custom aspect of it and building it from top to bottom and making it my own. But I was really kind of hitting a wall with trying to find somebody who had the vision I did, or really kind of executed it how I want. I'm a perfectionist, I'm OCD. I absolutely want things a certain way, and there just wasn't that level from what I felt in this industry, at least not in Arizona. So I kind of started thinking about what I wanted to do, and you know, I feel like everything in the universe will align if you speak it into existence. We're very, very big here on speak your goals, speak what you want to do with your life, and it's going to bring it to you. If you do everything right, if you don't just say I want $1 million, but you're going to sit on your ass and do nothing, that doesn't work. But if you work towards that goal and you have that, feel like the universe brings it to you. So I had said I wanted to do something in this industry, and I, by chance, I had gotten an opportunity to open a previous company to this, doing the same thing but with a business partner. And it was really one of our really, you know, our predominant partners here is Evolution Power Sports. They do all of our tuning and aftermarket parts for horsepower. One of the owners is Todd Zacone. At that point, I had met Todd, and coincidentally, they were looking for another outlet on the West Coast, and I was looking to do something with my money, and he was like, well, why don't we do this? Why don't you become our West Coast distributor for this? And, you know, we work together. So I really owe kind of that push from Todd, because he gave me the opportunity for me to feel secure enough to do it. So from there we started, and you know, I'll be honest, knew nothing about the industry, knew nothing about owning a company. No, I was as green as you could be. I had my managing background or my, you know, and I could manage people, but managing a business is a whole different animal. And that's when I started bringing on people to the team. Our first hire was Lindsay Geyser. She still currently runs all of our social media, our marketing, web, everything from our look from top to bottom is Lindsay. And she came in, and since I didn't know anything about it, I just knew that social media was a big presence. As a young owner, you're like, that's how I get my info. That's what I want to do. Right. So that's kind of what started. It was Lindsay, myself, and my business partner at that time. We had started the company, and Lindsay kind of ran with it. I don't think she at the point really knew what to do with it, but she's one of the most driven people, you know. So if she sets a goal, like there's nothing that stops her from getting it. And she really, within months, created a really polished look, made us look like we had been doing it for years, but focused on what our core values were. And that's kind of, you know, where it landed, and how it grew. About a year and a half ago, me and my partner had separated. We created Jeffries Performance, and from that point forward, it's been us. And that's how JP had started and where I came from. So,
you know, I think it says a lot, one, to go from an industry that's completely different than this to, you know, learning things along the way where you finally build up a little bit of a confidence to say, I just want more. Like, I completely honor that feeling, you know, because it's, you can be in the best opportunity in the world, but if it's not yours and there's a ceiling, no matter how high it is, you're always going to be like fighting, you know, to break that. And so to go from, you know, where you did and then just set goals along the way and put it into speak it into your reality, you know, is incredible. But then also to have the understanding as a green business owner to say, you know, there's going to be certain things that I don't know how to do because we can't know it all. Yeah. And even if we do, we can't execute on all of it. So to put like the right people in place that are able to just take certain aspects of the business and run with it is going to makes a huge difference. And, you know, that's why you have the look that you do today. It is polished. It's beautiful. And it's like you've been able to create that success because you've known how to set your goals, implement them, and then put the right people in place. Yeah, no, it's
what I feel like, you know, kind of you touched on it, is a lot of people, they wait for that comfort zone to appear in business. And to be completely honest, it'll never happen. Anybody who owns a business that says they're comfortable or that they don't stress or things like that, I think it's a fallacy. And if they do, I would love to meet them and then pick their brain. Right. But every day you come in and, you know, for me, there had been points in my life where I had been completely broke and penniless. That resonates with me to where like I always have that fear and stress, and no matter how good things are going, I always have that fear that it could not go that way. It really, you know, it hones my decisions, but it really drives me. And one of the biggest things that I do find comfort in is when you build a team that believes in the same things that you do, which is extremely hard to find, especially this day and age, because not a lot of people have work ethic and morals and values and things like that. I will tell you, the most successful thing that we've done here is create a family. Alex is our manager here. He runs everything. Like, everybody think I might own it, but Alex runs everything. I go to him for answers. I ask him what I'm doing today, things like that. He runs everything, but he takes this business as if it is his own, and he treats it that way. And people know that. Same with the guys in the back. Everybody has pride to do what we do, because as much as it's my name on the building, I don't think anybody thinks that it was me that created it. And I love that. I want to be the least important person in this building. My team is what makes us who we are, and that's how we're successful today. And I think that that's, you know, one of the key points to creating a successful business is be uncomfortable, but be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I don't know how to really formulate that, but you have to find that, like, it's like what I would relate to a lot of, you know, say, you know, people overseas, if you're in war, if you're in the army, if you're in the military, you have to be comfortable under stress. And by no means do I relate what we do to that, but you have to find, like, you have to be able to think and be witty, and making sure that you don't let that fear or a sense of like uncomfortableness kind of bog you down. And I think that's when you can really start to grow and understand your limitations and things like that.
I agree. I mean, I think as a business owner, unless somebody, I think, has started something from the ground up, it's hard to relate to that sense of a fear of, like, okay, it took off, but, like, you know, I could lose it all. And I think there's two things that I want to touch on. It's like, one, that fear of losing it all, it's definitely real. With that said, though, I think like going from being in a position in your life where you're completely penniless, you have the confidence that you can, no matter what happens, like, you might go back to that point, God forbid, but it's like, well, I went from here and then I was able to build something. And so I can do it all over again, which gives you, like, that level of comfort to just say.
And that was a big point in when we had started this new entity. We spent 2 years building our first entity, and it was, in my eyes, we built Goliath. We built this monster machine that performed well, and it was hard to go against. And then I started again from the bottom, and like you said, I had all the confidence in the world in Lindsay's ability to recreate what we did, and my ability to sell what I sold, and you believe in your core values and like that. Like, if you just know that you've done it once, you can do it again, there's nothing stopping you from being able to do that. And I think a lot of people, there's I'm not sure how the saying goes, it was told to me a long time ago, but I believe there's hunters and gatherers. Like, there's people that they don't mind being in that 9-to-5 situation where it's brought to you. You can do X, Y, and Z. You can organize. You can be, and by no means, there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, there's plenty of people that have 9-to-5s and work at amazing jobs at Wells Fargo and things like that. But if you know how to hunt, the fear of going broke is always there. But you do have that confidence. I'm like, you know what? No matter what I do, I can walk in. I can figure it out. And that's a lot of what we do every day here. Is it's constant juggling, and it's constant problem solving and thinking on your feet, and making sure at the end of the day, no matter what, your clientele, your reputation, and how people perceive you is 100% what you envisioned at the beginning of that day when you started. So
It's like the saying too, where when you're an entrepreneur and you're jumping out of a plane, they'll jump out of a plane before they have a parachute, and they're gonna figure out how to build it on the way down. Honestly, it's funny. As funny as it sounds, it's you're doing it on a whim, and you're just doing what you can, and as as best as you can. So, gotta say you've done a great job with that so far.
Well, thank you very much. That's yeah. It's a lot like that. That's a good one. I'm gonna use that for sure.
Literally.
And trying to find parachutes is pretty hard in the middle of the year, but you get it done.
Figure it out.
Yeah, and a lot of it is now. I'm fine. Myself. I know how to make money for myself on any given day. Like if I have to sell something, go garage sailing, I can make money myself. Right. The fear comes in is when you start to be responsible for everyone in your building.
100%.
Like these guys they're my family. Like no doubt every single person that we employ is my family. I'm fortunate enough that I talk to these guys every day. We talk to them on the weekends. We go out on vacations together. These guys are my family. So I have a lot of responsibility to them. And that's a different fear in itself, is making sure that you not only can take care of yourself, but first and foremost, you make sure that these guys can get paid. Right. We have enough work coming in to make sure that happens, and that the things that we do and the decisions we make will never affect them in a negative way. And that's something I've really, really learned over the last couple of years. Is, even since managing in bars and things like that, like you never really understand the money or the financial aspect or what's going on. But you soon realize that once you're an owner, like you have to take care of these people, and you have to make sure that it's not about like, you can do $100,000 a week if you want, but if you don't stretch and make sure that carries out for the rest of the year, you're really you're not doing any favors for yourself or your business, but most of all, you're putting these people in jeopardy, and I can never do that.
Right.
That's like my responsibility is to make sure that this place runs so well that these guys can create a life off of it.
And it just speaks off your character as well, to have that care, because there are a lot of people out there just looking for themselves really, and they're not too worried about everybody else. And so to really care about your team and carry them with you, that'll help build everything out in the future, just continually, because they're going to be committed to you and give you their time and effort and energy just because you're willing to do the same for them. So
yeah,
it's family.
This business was created, it wasn't anybody can say it, but like truly the monetary value of this business wasn't why I did it. It was because I wanted to create something that I had pride in, that I went and I felt, that it was enjoyable.
Passionate. Yeah.
Passion. For them, for me to be able to do what I do, and for us to be able to achieve what we achieve, there's no way I can do it without them. So they are much more important. My business will 100% run without me.
Right.
They can take me out for a month. These guys will still make this business run. So I find amazing that it's absolutely amazing that we've achieved that level of infrastructure. But I could not do it without them. So they're much more important to this place than I am. And if you don't treat that as such, if you get cocky, or if you're a business owner that's like, yeah, we're doing great, we're on this pedestal, we've achieved X, Y, and Z, if you get cocky and you don't start looking back on this is how these people built this business, and you don't make sure that translates through appreciation, through pay, through whatever it takes for them to feel like what they do every day is valued, you're going to fail quick.
Agree, 100%.
Hi guys.
Hey, Alex around?
Yeah, no, come on in. Go right through.
A little seat here.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
We come in the wrong door. No, so my ultimate goal for me would, in the next few months, figure out whether we just need to fine tune this, sharpen it, get it fluid, make it a little easier on everyone, find different processes, and really make it a well-oiled machine. Or we take the amount of momentum we have, and we just keep going with it, and we grow it to as much as we can. Like you said, there's a lot of risk in that, and I'm very fortunate. Most of my best friends are all business owners. much older than me, and I take what they say very seriously. Some of the best knowledge you can get if you're willing to open your ears and listen as a young buck, or I'm not so much of a young buck anymore, but in these guys' eyes, I'm much younger than them. They'll give you the path of success, and if you don't listen to that, you're just it's arrogant. If you're too cocky to let somebody talk to you about your business and the way you can do things, that's weird.
Fly.
It'll fly. You just don't. I feel like that's gonna take you down a road that you don't want to be in. And so I'm gonna probably take this next year and see what it does. My ultimate goal would be for this place to be in a bigger facility that really fine-tunes everything that we want to do, and have good processes. Like, you know, I take a lot of pride in how our building looks and what we want to do, and our look kind of needs to have space to do that. So maybe a little bit of a bigger building, and then some other business opportunities that we're looking at right now. We're just now getting into tuning exotic cars. That was, you know, that's yeah. Everybody smiles like that. You know, Todd, the gentleman who started me in this, pretty much, he came from Porsche tuning, one of the most proficient guys in the industry. He stopped doing that to start his other company. He became greatly successful at this. Probably one of the most amazing companies in our industry as far as performance tuning. And he has this whole portfolio behind him of Porsche tuning and McLaren's, Ferraris, everything. He's tuned everything. And out here, I felt like our business model really fit with exotic cars. I felt like there wasn't a lot of people out there that were doing the same thing that we're doing on a customer service standpoint, or the amount of quality is. So I felt like there was a void in that market. So that's kind of what we're getting into. And it'll be slow. It'll be kind of one of those things where, you know, it won't be a lot of traction for a while, because I really, really want to start it and do it the right way, because
Calculated.
yeah, and you know, risk is a little different. You're dealing with $100,000 cars. You know, we do that once in a while here, but it's now a different clientele. So we want to make sure we have all the foundation for it. So that'll be the next kind of migration of what Jeffries Performance does, and that's it's exciting.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
Onwards and upwards.
Yeah.
Well, should we wrap?
We wrap it up.
Okay.
Wrapping info.
Well, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate you guys coming in. I'm very proud of what you guys have done. Anybody who doesn't know, these guys have, in the last decade, transformed themselves about 5 different times that I know, in so many different occupations. And I will tell you this, one of the coolest things that I've seen is probably a year ago, Jay came here and he was driving a Ford Ranger, single cab Ford Ranger, with a bunch of paint gear in the back. So was it a year? Maybe a little more.
It was about a year ago, yeah.
About a year ago. Head to toe in paint. He just pulled up in a brand new Range Rover. And knowing from what, when you first started, you had a street bike when I first met you.
Yeah.
To see what you've done and to see how far you've come from, and nobody's giving you anything.
Right.
Like, there's not a single person that came over with a ladder and helped you up. So I know that. Other than, obviously, Mo's been your backbone for this many years. So I'm extremely proud to see you roll up in that car, because I know that was earned.
Right. Well, it's because of people like you that are in our life. Look at, you are the son of the people that you hang out with, and you know, being able to have that osmosis and be around it, and just we're all fortunate. So thank you for everything too. It means a lot.
Congratulations, and appreciate you guys. And this was fun. This was great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty, guys.
We're out.
Thanks.
We're out of here.
Ready?